Hello and welcome to the Oxford Carols Night In. I'm one of your hosts for this evening, Jewel Bennett. I'm a member of OICCU and a second-year medic at Lady Margaret Hall.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Akande, your other host for tonight. I'm also a member of OICCU and a second-year ancient and modern historian at Magdalen. Thanks for tuning in. We're really happy to have you here tonight.
You're in for a real treat today. We have 4 amazing acts and a great talk lined up for you. Tonight's event is run by OICCU, the Oxford Intercollegiate Christian Union. We're a group of students that's aim is to give every student at Oxford the opportunity to hear and respond to the message of Jesus.
Yeah, you can find tonight's programme on your Night In pack if you ordered one. If not, don't worry. The programme's also in the link in the description just down below this video. You can also find it through OICCU's main Facebook page. Do also check out the OICCU website afterwards. It's got a host of great resources and a way to get in touch with an OICCU rep from your own college.
Nice. So, Christmas is only 23 sleeps away now. I hope you guys are getting excited. I mean, I myself am already embracing the Christmassy mood.
I can see a beautiful dress.
Why, thank you very much. I do enjoy your jumper. That's lovely.
Yeah, very Christmassy, very functional as well. Stick chocolate coins in here. Very useful.
Classic.
And I love the dress. Although I
Thank
must
you.
say the jumper is, the jumper's the one.
I'm not going to lie. I don't think anything could be a Christmas dress, original.
I mean, when we were walking here earlier and you were asking me to hold all that stuff because you didn't have pockets, I have a pocket.
That's true, but I still think the dress takes the win. I'm not going to lie.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can ask the viewers. I don't know if it's possible to ask the people. Okay, let's set up a little poll.
Cool. Okay, so we're actually going to do this. So we're going to set up a live poll right now. So what you need to do is you need to go to the chat box at the side of the live stream and enter either A, if you think Jonathan's jumper is better, or B, if you think that my dress takes the win. Remember, only enter a single letter. So either A for Jonathan or B for myself.
Yeah, there we go. A for Akande, B for Bennett. If your household is split, so just put A. You might as well. So yeah, we're going to set that up. But while they do that, why don't we go and listen to our first act?
Fantastic.
We're actually going to go straight to Oxford's first all-female a cappella group, the Oxford Bells, and they're going to give their rendition of Silent Night. Oh, commentary carol even. Wow, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was lovely.
I've never heard that carol before, but it was amazing. Massive thank you to the Oxford Bells. We'll actually be hearing more from them later.
Oh, amazing. And while we were listening to that beautiful act, you guys were voting. So I think we're just about to get the results in now. Oh, fantastic. So orange is me. Yay, I win. Fantastic.
I think the people have been misled there. Something's definitely gone wrong.
No, I think that's very good taste, audience. We'll give Jonathan a moment to console himself. And whilst he does that, we're going to move on to our first reading for tonight from the book of Isaiah.
The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep darkness, a light has dawned. You have enlarged the nation and increased their joy. They rejoice before you as people rejoice at the harvest, as warriors rejoice when dividing the plunder. For as in the day of Midian's defeat, you have shattered the yoke that burdens them, the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor. Every warrior's boot used in battle and every garment rolled in blood will be destined for burning, will be fuel for the fire. For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. And he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this.
Cheers for that, Chris.
Yeah,
that was great.
So, Jonathan, how have you been preparing for Christmas, if you have?
Well, over the weekend, some of my friends made some pigs in blankets. A little shout out to Swids 3, it was amazing. And on Friday, we're actually going to a Christmas dinner.
Oh, lovely. So, would you say that's one of your favourite parts about Christmas?
By far. The Christmas dinner, I mean, admittedly, we're not making it. It's being made for us. But who doesn't love eating?
That is fair, that is fair. I mean, I myself absolutely love decorating, like the tinsel, the baubles, you know.
I mean, we have done that as well. They've done it very well, but I don't think anything beats, actually getting into the meal.
Well, I was hoping you'd say that, because I want to throw this out to the people again and see what they say. So, what do you think? We should do that?
Go for it.
Okay, so again, if you agree with Jonathan, vote A in the poll. And if you agree with myself and think that decorating is one of the best parts about getting ready for Christmas, then vote B.
Yeah, remember, just a single A or a single B in the chat. A, if you prefer making the Christmas dinner, and by extension, eating it. Who doesn't? And B, if you like the decorations.
And while you guys start voting, we'll move on to our second act for the evening. The Merton College Choir will be singing a Christmas classic, In the Bleak Midwinter.
Snow
Wow, that was amazing. Wasn't
Yeah.
it? Nothing bleak about that performance. Thank you very much to the Merton College Choir.
Yeah, that was really beautiful. And while that was happening, hopefully you guys have been putting in your votes for which part of the Christmas preparations you enjoy more, whether it was the Christmas dinners like Jonathan, or whether it was decorating like myself. So hopefully you've still got good taste, and I think the results are going to come through now.
Oh,
What?
absolutely right.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad to
That's
see that you guys are now
outrageous.
back in the right Christmas
Outrageous,
mood.
absolutely outrageous.
They just took them a bit of time to warm up, but now they're back.
I mean, to be fair, that does even it out. 1-1.
It is 1-1. I don't really like that, though. I feel like we need to have a winner.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll do one more poll, but later in the evening. And, whoever wins that one, winner takes it all.
Okay. And what is the all that the winner is taking?
Like the pride, the glory from winning,
Yeah.
and just whatever prize the tech team can come up with in 20 minutes.
Okay, you know what? I like it. We'll give the tech team suitable time to come up with a prize. But before that, we still have a talk and 2 acts to get through.
That's right. But first, we're going to hear a reading from the book of Luke, and then meet our speaker for this evening, and then watch another act.
Let's go.
Luke chapter 2, verses 8 to 15. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flock at night. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. He's the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign to you. You will find a baby wrapped in cloths and lying in a manger." Suddenly, a great company of the heavenly host appeared with the angel, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favor rests." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let's go to Bethlehem and see this thing that has happened, which the Lord has told us about."
Thank you so much for that reading, Anna.
Yeah, and we're actually going to meet our speaker for tonight, Jonty. I don't know if we can get Jonty up. Hello, Jonty, can you hear us?
Yeah, hi, I can hear you.
Great, thank you so much for coming on. Jonty, first of all, who are you and what do you do?
Cool, yeah, I'm Jonty, and many years ago, I used to be a student at Oxford, but that's been a long time since then. I now live in central London, and I work for a church.
Amazing. So you said that you came to Oxford as well. What college were you at, and what did you study?
I was at Lincoln College and studying chemistry, so big shout out to all the chemists out there.
Amazing. And from your time studying here, what was one of your best or funniest or just weirdest stories?
I don't know. I love Christmas. I loved Christmas in Oxford. It was quite a magical place, and you do all kinds of crazy things. Like, I don't know if you've ever mulled wine in a kettle. We did that one year. Just filled the kettle with red wine and boiled it. It wasn't great, but it was better than the baked beans that we tried. But there's other stuff, just walking around the streets. I remember one year it was snowing, and I went around this corner. I can't remember which street it was, but there was a lamppost, and it felt like I was in Narnia with the snow falling, and there was something quite magical about it. So I kind of love all that. But the weird thing is then you get all Christmassy at the start of December, and then you go home, and you're all ready for Christmas, and everyone else has still got 4 weeks to go, and it's kind of looking at you like you're mad. So yeah, I loved Christmas in Oxford.
Yeah, I think we have to put in a little disclaimer that we don't encourage putting red wine in kettles or something like that. Jonty, what would you say is your favourite Christmas tradition?
This might be a little bit weird, but I am a big fan of Brussels sprouts. I don't think I eat Brussels sprouts any other day of the year, but I heat them up And yeah, love Brussels sprouts.
Quite a rogue choice. I don't think many people would go with that. And then, John,
No, I'm sorry.
final question, very important. This jumper or Jules' dress, which would you say is better?
That's so not allowed.
Well, on this Zoom call that I'm on, you're very, very small. So it's very, very difficult to... You look like two little red blobs. So I'm going to go with, you both look lovely.
Thank you.
I think that's kind of cheating, but thank you very much, John, too.
Yeah, very
No worries.
swiftly out of that. And thank you so much for being with us tonight. So we'll be hearing more from Jonty in a little while. But first of all, we have an act by Phil Chevassut, who will be performing a Christmas favourite, Hark the Herald.
Sing glory to the newborn King, peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies, with angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of a virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see, hail the incarnate deity. Pleased as man with man to dwell, Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the heaven-born Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give the second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
I love Christmas, so this is a great joy to be able to share with you and just for a few minutes explore the meaning, the message of Christmas. And after the year that we've had, I mean, boy, we could do with some good news, right? I mean, 2020 has been a bizarre, unexpected, the most difficult year that most of us will ever have faced. This microscopic virus has invaded our everyday life and turned everything upside down. It's exposed our vulnerabilities. It's disrupted our normal. It's robbed us of the things that we love. It's changed everything. An unexpected invasion that's changed everything. But you know, that is often how life works. You're going through life, you think you're going this direction, and then something happens, something unexpected invades, and it changes the direction of your life. And that's not always bad. Sometimes that can be good, like the email offering you a dream job, or the text inviting you out on a date. You thought you were going this way, but suddenly something invades your life and it changes direction completely. Do you know, that is the message of Christmas. You might not have thought of it like this before, but that's what Christmas is all about. Christmas is about an unexpected invasion that confronts us with a reality that we cannot ignore. Let me try and show you what I mean. And I want to introduce you to some shepherds. You may have met these guys before. If you've ever been to a school nativity play, you'll have met these guys. They've normally got tea towels on their head and a little stuffed sheep under their arm. In fact, some of you might even played the part of a shepherd, wishing you had been Joseph, glad you're not the donkey, that sort of thing. But let's be careful not to write these shepherds off too quickly. There may be more here than first meets the eye. So I want to invite you to take a closer look at what Luke tells us about these shepherds. We're introduced to them in verse 8. Luke is writing, he's talked to eyewitnesses. He may even have talked to some of these shepherds and said to them, what happened that night? And then he tells us the story, verse 8. And there were shepherds living out in the fields nearby, keeping watch over their flocks at night. So first up, they're shepherds. They're just doing their normal shepherdy thing. It's another day, another night, their mundane, boring life looking after these sheep. It's just the way things are until something happens completely unexpected. Their field, where they're sitting, is invaded. This is how it says it in verse 9. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them. I mean, there they are, sitting there, minding their own business, when suddenly an angel shows up and the glory of God shines all around. They are invaded by the glory of God. It's the last thing on earth that they were expecting to happen that night. But what does it mean? What does the glory of the Lord mean? What is glory? I mean, glory is one of those words that you perhaps hear around religious places, glory this, glory that. But what does glory really mean? Well, when you look in the Bible, you discover that glory is a big deal. Glory is about when God puts himself on display. That's a kind of a working definition of glory. God on display. When God shows what he's really like. Look, imagine I invited you around to my house for a firework display. You say, oh yeah, great. We have some drinks, we go in the garden, and I line up all the little cardboard tubes, the fireworks, and I say, here's the firework display. You would rightly be slightly disappointed. You'd say, that's not a firework display. In order to see the fireworks in their true glory, you have to light them. They fly in the air, they explode in beautiful color, and then you see their glory. You see, it's the same firework, right? It's the little tube that's here. It's just that here, it looks unspectacular and hidden. It's all hidden away. It's only when it's lit and explodes that you see it in its glory. That's a display. And that's how it works with God. You see, God is invisible. He's hidden. We cannot see him. And yet God acts. He does things to put himself on display so that we can know him. I'll give you some examples. I mean, this is how the Bible starts. Right at the beginning, God creates the world. And as God creates the world, it's like a firework display. It's God on display. It's his glory. So God says, let there be light. And there was light. And then he makes the mountains and the rivers and the creatures and the flowers. He makes it all, and all of it is like a firework display that shows something of who God is. It shows his power and his beauty and his perfection. That's God on display. And as you look at our world today, you can still see a glimpse of that. You have those moments where you stand looking at a sunset, or looking at an incredible mountain range, or a beautiful waterfall, and you have a moment of wonder where you go, this is just breathtaking. And that wonder, that moment there, is a glimpse of glory. You're getting a glimpse of the glory of God in what he's made. It's God on display. And then as you go through the Bible, it's not just what he's made, it's also what he does. He acts in certain ways to put his glory on display. So there's a time when he parts the Red Sea so that his people can walk through safely. That is the glory of God, God on display. There are times when God brings water out of a rock or feeds his people in the desert or comes and meets his people in thunder and lightning on a mountain. Over and over again, God does things to show his glory, the glory of God. That is his power and his perfection and his beauty and his wisdom and his might being put on display. And now, in a little field just outside Bethlehem, the glory of God has shown up. God has invaded this field, and now he's shining all around these shepherds. And they can't miss it. I mean, you don't miss the glory of God. It's not like any of them slept through it or they got distracted. Oh, I found a dandelion. Look at this beautiful dandelion. No, the glory of God is all-consuming. It's captivating. And the shepherds all saw it. Their everyday, mundane, normal life was invaded by the glory of God. And that's what Christmas is about. Christmas is about the glory of God, the creator God, the awesome, beautiful, powerful God, invading our world with his glory so that we may know him and see what he's like. Glory, God on display. But what happens next is really important. Two things in the story that will help us to understand more of this glory and what Christmas is about. What happens when the glory of God invades the field? The first thing that happens is that the shepherds are terrified. Let me read it to you. An angel of the Lord appeared to them, the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. Has it ever crossed your mind that God might be terrifying? You see, I think most of us in our thinking would say, well, if there is a God, and I'm not even sure if there is, he's domesticated, he's some sort of force. I don't give him a lot of thought. But the shepherds, when they saw the glory of God, were terrified by him. We push God to the sidelines of our lives. We try and act as if we can live without him. In fact, we may even just pretend or imagine or think that there is no God. That may be our decision, and we write God out of our story so that we can get on with writing our own story. But the shepherds couldn't do that. Because when they were confronted with the glory of God, they were confronted with a reality that they just couldn't ignore. But why were they so terrified? Well, they were terrified because they assumed that the next thing that was going to happen was that they would die. You see, they were aware, when the glory of God showed up, they were aware that this was profoundly dangerous. They were not safe. To be in the presence of the glory of God is terrifying because it's not safe. You see, as the shepherds experienced the glory of God, they began to feel their own smallness. 5 minutes earlier, they were ignoring God. They weren't thinking about God. They were thinking about their sheep and about all the stuff of normal life. And then suddenly, when the glory of God shows up, they're aware of their own smallness. And not only their own smallness, they're also aware of their own sin, uncleanness. They're aware that they fall well short of the glory of God. And therefore, this glory of God is terrifying because it threatens to consume them. You see, we need to take this seriously. If there is a God, and if he's the God of glory, if he's the great creator who's infinitely perfect and beautiful, then in many ways that is terrifying. Because for us, who fall so far short of that, for us who do so many things that are wrong, if we get anywhere near that glory, we'll be exposed and we'll face death. At which point you might say, well, this isn't a very cheerful Christmas message. Well, let me show you the second thing that happens. Because when you understand that the glory of God is terrifying, and if we got a glimpse of the glory of God now, we would all be terrified like those shepherds were. Once you've seen that, you're ready for the second thing. And that is that the angel spoke. And the angel said, don't be afraid. So you're in the presence of the glory of God, and the angel says it is possible to be in the presence of the glory of God and not be afraid. How is that possible? This little phrase, don't be afraid, it reminds me of the phrase that dog owners have said to me countless times over the years. I have to confess, I'm not a great dog lover. And there's been a number of times when I've been in the park and an enormous dog has run towards me with its eyes fixed on me, clearly snarling, clearly wanting to rip my head off. And it's always followed by a desperate dog owner chasing after them, going, don't be afraid, don't be scared of him. And then they say the second thing. You know the second thing? He only wants to play. He's only being friendly. I'm like, he doesn't look friendly. And then they say the third thing, which is the thing that gets me most upset, which is when they say, oh, he can smell your fear. Oh, I see. So it's my fault that your dog is attacking me. Anyway, let's forget dogs for a second. Don't get me started on that. Let's come back to God. When the angel says, don't be afraid, here are the shepherds terrified. They're in the presence of the glory of God and they're terrified. And the angel says, don't be afraid. Why? Why should they not be afraid? The angel doesn't say, oh, don't be afraid. He only wants to play. Don't be afraid. He's friendly. No, the angel doesn't say that. There's another reason why they should not be afraid. And it's the message of Christmas. Listen to it. Today, in the town of David, a Savior has been born to you. Don't be afraid because a Savior has been born. A baby has been born who is born to save you. Well, to save you from what? Well, to save you from terror in the presence of the glory of God. To save you from death, the death that we deserve. You see, the baby is the reason that you need not be afraid. The baby has been born so that the glory of God might not be a place of terror and death, but might become for us a place of worship and wonder. Because of the birth of this baby, it is possible to stand in the presence of the glory of God and to not be afraid. And to find delight and joy and freedom and life in all its fullness in the presence of the glory of God. But how on earth does a baby do that? How does a baby save you from the glory of God? Well, you've got to watch the baby grow up. You've got to watch as this baby, Jesus, born in Bethlehem, laid in a manger, as he grows to become a man. And Jesus, throughout his life, is doing miracles. It's like a firework display, like a full-on mega firework display of the glory of God as Jesus heals the sick, as he feeds the hungry, as he raises the dead, as he opens the eyes of the blind, as he calms a storm. Jesus, over and over again, the fireworks are flying everywhere as the glory of God is put on display. And this Jesus, then at the end of his life, it climaxes in the moment when he goes to a cross and he dies. And as he dies on the cross, that is his supreme moment of glory. Because as this baby who grows to be the man who dies, as this man dies, the glory of God is put on display. You see God's love for you put on display. Because when Jesus dies, he takes what we deserve. So he is terrified at the cross. As he takes our sin upon himself, he's the perfect Son of God, but he takes our sin upon himself and he feels the terror that we should feel. And then he takes the death that we should face. And as he takes our terror and as he takes our death upon himself, he does it so that we might go free. So that all of our sin, all of our imperfection might be washed away, so that we might be clean, so that we might be able to stand in the glory of God and not be afraid. This is what Christmas is all about. The glory of God has invaded our world. I wonder, will you let the glory of God invade your life this Christmas? Will you discover the God who is creator, the God who's infinitely perfect and beautiful, the God who in many ways we should be terrified of, and the one before whom we deserve to die, and yet the one who through Jesus will save us so that we might enjoy his glory? Would you let the glory of God invade your life? Christmas confronts us with a reality, the glory of God, that we must not ignore. The shepherds did not ignore it in the field. Let's not be those who ignore it this Christmas. If you want to find out more, if you want to think more about this, I just suggest you read Luke's Gospel. Just go for it. Read about this man Jesus. Check it out for yourself. See what you think. And hey, perhaps even have your life changed by the glory of God. I hope you have a great Christmas. And a very happy New Year.
Thank you, Jonty. That was great. And thank you to Phil as well. Excellent.
Yeah, amazing.
Well.
Asked some big questions tonight.
Yeah. And I must say, we've been split in the answers so far. My jumper, your dress, what we like having, eating, food, or whether we like decorations. But actually, people have bigger questions, don't they? And thankfully, OICCU have set up a whole week to help answer those questions.
Yes, we all have big questions, and OICCU's Events Week is a great place to explore them. Held in the middle of Hillary term, it's an opportunity to ask questions and explore more about the Christian faith.
Tech team, please roll the trailer.
Remember the first friend you ever made? How you knew them and they knew you. And there was nothing that either of you could ever say, no revelation that could separate this union of two souls, two homes, delving deep into the unknown to make known.
You know, it's been a while since I felt known. Like, what do you really know? And what if they really knew? What if they saw every blunder and wondered, is all this true? What if they charged down my barricades where hidden things can stay away and I can go to hide and say, I'm lonely in my hiding place? The sole inhabitant of this barren landscape, I'd trace the outline every day of my shadow if there were one.
But we haven't seen light here for a while now. And sometimes I wish that I could feel like a child now. Back when there was nothing covered and nothing to be hidden. Back when fear was undiscovered and shame was still a riddle. Back when I felt fully known and yet felt fully loved. All reviewed, but nothing judged.
Don't you wish to be known like that? To never wonder how long it will last? To translate the fabricated tapestry of hopefully distorted memories into the deep-set foundation of a reality? To know a love so firm that tsunamis of shame could flood the beaches of your social sphere. But these roots run deep. No storm could remove them, no wave could uproot them. No single thing that the anxious cogs of your mind could concoct could ever confuse this love with any other.
For this love is a love that knows me. A love that has promised to never disown me. A love so vast that mountain peaks and valley troughs would marvel at its magnitude and majesty. Unmoving, unchanging, always was and is and always will be. A love that knows me intimately.
With nothing to be found.
This love will always be enough.
For the place where we are fully known
is the place we're fully loved.
Great. Look at you in there, starting and finishing off the trailer, star of the show. We love it. Known will be on during the third week of Hillary term. Come along to hear great talks, ask your questions, and find out why it's great to have a God who knows us.
Yeah.
More details are going to follow on the OICCU Facebook page, so be sure to check that out over Christmas.
Yeah, it's always a great week. So, we've done 2 polls. It's
have.
1-1, even Stevens, all for the taking. I reckon it's time to come up with one more question, see who's the winner, and gets that prize.
Okay, well, I do have a little something itching me, which I
Okay.
feel like we might disagree about.
Okay.
Okay, so we're into December, the last stretch before Christmas. But did you know that those lights on the high street, beautiful Christmas lights,
Really nice.
they've been up there for like 2 weeks now.
What's the problem with that?
And when I was going to Tesco last week,
Yeah.
they already had that huge Christmas tree up. Beautiful,
We love it.
but isn't that a bit early to start celebrating Christmas?
I mean, it's only like a month before Christmas. I think that's completely fine.
I know students here, Oxmas is a thing, but for Christmas, it's a December celebration. I'm not trying to be a Scrooge.
What?
Look at the jumper, I love Christmas. But I do think that some people sometimes start celebrating a bit too early, you know?
Well, fair enough. Let's throw it out to the people one more time. So, you guys already know the drill. Vote A if you agree with Jonathan and you think that Christmas is only for December celebration. And vote B if you're with me and you think a month before is fine.
Yeah, A for a candidate, B for Bennett. I mean, we can't be listening to Christmas songs in October or anything, can we? It's a
No
December
comments.
thing. It's a December thing. Now, I'm going to put A, single A for me, and a single B for Jewel. And we're going to, while you're voting, we can actually go on to our final act.
Oh, final act.
I know, it's the last one, unfortunately. Thankfully, it's really good. The Oxford Bells are going to come back, and they're going to give their rendition of Silent Night.
Heavenly, heavenly, heaven, 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 hea
That was amazing from the Oxford Bells. Massive thank you to them. 2 incredible acts there.
Yeah, that was so lovely. And while that was going on, you guys have been voting, hopefully.
Yeah, but before we reveal the results of that
Yeah,
poll,
do we actually have a prize?
here is what we're fighting for.
No, look at that.
This is what we're fighting for
Look
tonight.
at that chocolate goodie, wow.
The Teddy chocolate lint.
Whoa.
A prize for the ages.
That's
Golden.
a big one. That's a big one.
This is it. Now, the question was, you might remember, when is it acceptable to start celebrating Christmas? If you were like me, you're saying it's a December celebration,
Only
so
December.
A. Or you would have gone with Jewel, in which case earlier is fine. Now, get those final votes, and we're going to count them up, and the results are coming in
Here are the results.
right now.
Yes!
Oh.
Look at that, that's close.
I think
That is close.
Can I demand a recount on those?
No,
I mean,
we're not stopping the count.
I think there's a margin of error, which means we have to recount them again.
Yes.
In
This
which
is
case,
fantastic.
I'm proud to present the Golden Teddy.
Oh, thank you.
She's
Thank
happy.
you, everybody.
It's her first win. It's her first win.
It is my first one.
Thank you guys
everybody.
so much for tuning in, even if you did vote the wrong way. But we were really happy to have you. We hope you enjoyed the service.
Yes, thank you so much. A massive thank you to the Oxford Bells, to the Merton College Choir, to Phil and to John T for your contributions. And also a big thank you to the Night In team for making tonight possible.
Yeah, guys, you've been a great audience. I say, seeing you through the camera. Thanks so much for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you in Known in 3rd week of Hillary.
Yeah, hope you have a really good evening, guys. And remember, Jesus loves you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.